The biggest pain point with electric vehicles for most potential users, charging. And while there are many people all across the world and different car brands as well that are looking for solutions to this problem to make it better, more efficient and easier, there are some interesting ideas that are already in play. Today, I'm going to show you one such idea. It's the Audi Charging Hub. The first ever Audi Charging Hub in Nuremberg was Audi's pilot or experiment in a way. So what is it? The Audi Charging Hub is an EV charging station, but with a huge difference.
We wanted to build an alternative to home charging, so we're looking for for locations in cities and urban areas, at big roads that come into the city or even in city centers, to build Audi charging hubs, to really have an alternative for the customer who can't charge in his garage, to come on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis to recharge his electric vehicle and then go on and have a very reliable source of recharging.
The charging bays you see here are not simply connected to the electricity grid. Instead, they draw their power from these big captive power units called power cubes. Now you might wonder why these chargers really require these massive battery stacks inside the cube. Because think about it, most charging infrastructure that you see worldwide is just a charger with an electricity supply coming straight into it. Well, that's the point, that you have to have special kind of infrastructure in place for high-speed charging. While here, you could have a low voltage supply and still it's the batteries that will provide the required amount of power to a car to give it high-speed charging, which means less time spent for the consumer at the charging point. Each power cube has a storage capacity of roughly 800 kilowatt-hour, and each of these units can have 2 fast charging points. The cubes are made up of stacks of batteries, as I said, that store power, and they can be programmed to charge with power that comes in at low voltage or even at hours when power is subsidized, or even directly from a renewable energy source. But the cubes provide a high-speed fast charge output in higher wattage to cars when they need charging. Up to 80 cars can be charged every day here at Nuremberg. So inside the power cube, you actually have stacks of batteries, and these could be second life batteries. I'll get to that in just a second. But in terms of how many batteries, try and think of it in terms of 4 e-trons per cube, roughly, give or take. The idea is that you don't just have direct power supply that comes in and allows you to charge your vehicle, but in the case of a power outage or a blackout or even a situation where maybe you aren't getting optimal power supply, these batteries kick in because they've already got stored power on board, and you can still do a high-speed charge on the car that you bring in for charging. So that's a great solution. It's also a great idea for that second life usage. Now that's the important point, because there's a lot of talk about how do you recycle these batteries, what do you do with them at the end of their life cycle within a car. Well, they still have about 70% odd usage left in them, and then this is a great solution. They could go into such units, which could also be mobile units, so that you have a chance to be able to charge them when the power is available and yet charge cars whenever they need it. The charging hub in Nuremberg has a captive storage capacity overall of 2.45 megawatt hour and can charge 6 cars simultaneously. The hub also has solar panels on the roof that provide up to 30 kilowatt of green energy to its supply. And you can even book your charging slot ahead of time and even pay for it online, all through an app.
Because we wanted to ensure with our reservation function that the customer can reserve a charging spot, and thereby can be sure that he can recharge his car on his way back from work or on his way to do some errands or whatever. And by this reservation function, it seems to be a very simple functionality.
Owners of any electric vehicle can come and use this hub. All brand EVs are welcome. Okay, while I wait for my car to charge up, let me show you what's upstairs. The hub concept is flexible, and so where possible, we'll also have a lounge area like this with indoor and outdoor space where you can get a lot done. So the idea of having a lounge here at the Charging Hub is not just about a place where you can actually sit down or you can get a coffee, but the idea is to also make your time a little bit more useful. So add a few value services that will just enhance that experience for you. So what they've tried to do is offer a bunch of them. You have a local delivery service that will bring your groceries that you can order on an app. That's one thing that you can do to make good on the time that you're spending here. In about 15 minutes at best, the groceries will arrive. So while your car is charging, you get your weekly grocery shopping done. You've also got a few other exclusive services that are part of an exclusive Audi lounge that's only for Audi customers. I'll show you that in a second. And then you can also book a slot for your car so that you have a reserved parking spot which is ready to charge your car when you get here, and you don't have to wait for somebody else to get done charging, just in case there are a lot of cars here. And then of course you have the option of also test driving some of the newer products like the e-tron GT or even the Q4. And lastly, a cleaning service which will clean your car. They'll wash it, and they'll also use a more environmentally friendly way of doing it, and they'll clean it from the inside too. Then of course you've got some space here where you can sit down and you could pull out your laptop and you could do some work or just make a couple of phone calls. It's nice because it's all been done in a more elegant upmarket sort of a way in terms of the materials that you see. What I'm entering now is of course the exclusive lounge, but before that, very important, the use of toilets and coffee. Probably two things that most people who come here for charging will definitely want to do. And you also have some organic snacks and also some local produce, which is a nice little touch to support local businesses that you can also access while you're waiting here. So when I said exclusive lounge for Audi customers, the reason is quite simple, because anybody with an electric car can come here to charge. You don't have to only have an Audi, but if it is very crowded, then there is a sort of a slightly more exclusive space for the Audi customers. So you could have your kids in this little breakout area for children. There's some coloring books and of course a little car. And then there's comfortable seating. It's also warm in the winter. That's definitely very important, or cooled in the summer, also important. You can get information on Audi vehicles, but you could also just be left to yourself. I mean, you want to catch up on your emails, you want to maybe make a quick call or have a meeting. There's space here for you to be able to do all of that and more. So this is nice because this one is of course the pilot project that was done. So in terms of space, there is a lot here, but you could have different models in different parts of the world as this actually spreads, where in some cases you would have big lounges, in some cases maybe not. Here, in this particular one, there's also a nice balcony to step outside. While you can track your car's charging on the app, I'm going to head down to see how it's going. All right, it's almost done, but I have about 5 minutes. I can quickly go back upstairs and grab a coffee. Well, this is nice and comfy. I can catch up on my social media.
With this concept, we are very flexible in where to put an Audi charging hub. We just need a low voltage connection. We don't need any underground work, and therefore we can go into the city centers where there wouldn't be any other concept possible. And yeah, we can think of, or we are already building different layouts of this Audi Charging Hub.
The second and third Audi Charging Hubs have already opened in Zurich and Berlin. These are smaller concepts in the heart of the city with 2 power cubes each and no lounge space, as there are many cafes and restaurants nearby, though you can still use the app to access some local services and stores. How successful this model can be And that will depend on a number of factors. Of course, the infrastructure and the space that is available, also the kind of usage pattern that consumers in that area would require or need. And then, of course, you've also got a few other things to consider. Local corporation permissions and electricity supply. So yes, that is why it's important to have not just one, but many different ideas in play. As more and more batteries from older EVs start to come on stream, Audi plans to keep expanding the network of such hubs, first in Europe, then elsewhere. The next hubs are expected in Salzburg and Munich.
Yeah, so we always, the Audi Charging Hub will always be a premium concept that is not made for the mass market. So we're always looking for the best locations, for premium locations. And so in Germany, we're planning to build 23 locations all over Europe. Our vision is to build 100 Audi Charging Hubs in the future. And then, of course, we're already working on some international guidelines to bring the Audi Charging Hubs to the world.